Welcome to The Shoreline, brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio, where finding your Lake Erie love is a sure thing. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jill Bauer, and I'm the PR manager at Shores and Islands, Ohio. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, social media manager, Dayton Barnett. Dayton and I are here every week to give you the inside scoop on what's happening here in our island and coastal communities and the events and attractions that we think you'll want to know more about and hopefully come visit us here. Hey, Dayton, how's it going today?
It's going great as always.
What's going on with you? What have you been out doing?
Everything, every day, all day. It's the same. It's
That's
a
rather
cycle
vague,
now at this
Dayton.
point. Yeah.
I said that's kind of vague.
I mean, the way the schedule goes for me, like as always, it's something always happening, so I'm always out. It's nothing new for me.
Yeah. Well, you guys, listeners, you should be following along. Dayton is putting some amazing content out there on the Shores and Islands social media feeds. If you're not already, make sure you follow along. Be sure to engage with his posts. You can find all the social links on our website at shoresandislands.com. Today we get to talk about wine again. I know it's one of our favorite subjects, right, Dayton?
It's one of mine.
And we're also going to head back over to Put-in-Bay. I know a few weeks ago we talked with Wendy Chambers from the Put-in-Bay Chamber of Commerce. So we're going to talk to a long-standing island business over there. We're going to actually be featuring two guests today, one from Heineman's Winery and the other from the Ohio Wine Producers Association. So joining us today are Dustin Heineman and Donniella Winchell. So please allow me to introduce them. Dustin Heineman is the fifth generation of Ohio's oldest family-owned and operated winery, established by his great-great-grandfather in 1888. He attended Ohio State University for a year, but he found it wasn't for him, moved back to his island home, where Dustin gained his hands-on experience working directly with his father Edward and his grandfather Louis Heineman. He considers them both his mentors and is proud to have followed in their footsteps. Today, Dustin is the chief winemaker and operations manager of this family business. Also joining us is Donniella Winchell. She's currently the executive director of the Ohio Wine Producers Association, chair of their Vintage Ohio Wine Festival, and coordinator of the License to Steal National Wine Making Conference. She is also past chair of the Wine America State Advisory Committee, is active in Wine Grape Growers of America, the Ohio Travel Association, and serves on several other state and national committees and boards. She's contributed to several national wine publications. She writes a weekly wine column for a dozen Ohio print and online publications. She's in my local paper every week. I know I see that. Authors a marketing e-letter called Tuesday Tidbits, which I also subscribe to, and speaks at numerous wine and tourism conferences. She has been the executive director of Ohio Wines for over 40 years. So welcome to the Shoreline, both Dustin and Donniella.
Thank you. Fun to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to have you.
All right, so let's start with Dustin. Can you please give us a brief history of your family and your winemaking operation on the island?
Yes, like Jill said, we are Ohio's oldest family-owned and operated winery. We were established by Gustav Heineman back in 1888, and we are now currently in our fifth generation. We're also home to Crystal Cave here as well, which is the world's largest celestite geode, and that is one of the main reasons that we are still here today and we survived Prohibition.
Yes, I've been down there. Have you, Jill? Have you been down to Crystal Cave?
I have been. I've been in both, and I think that's a really neat story as well. Dustin, go into that a little bit. How was Crystal Cave discovered, and how exactly did it get you through Prohibition?
Well, it was actually discovered in 1897 while they were digging a second well for the winery, so it's located directly behind the winery here. I'm glad that when they discovered it, they really weren't sure what they had found. They kind of mined some of it out of there to make room to allow people to tour this wonder of the world, if you will. That's what I call it. And now today we still continue to give tours, but during Prohibition we couldn't sell wine, and there used to be 17 wineries on this island here. We're the only one left because we were able to give tours of the cave, and Gustav also had a taxi service too that would bring people from downtown up here to tour Crystal Cave and drink grape juice.
Oh, very cool. I want to bring Donniella in. The Ohio Wine Producers Association encompasses a plethora of Ohio wineries, a bunch of different wine regions, and several wine trails. Can you speak for the listener? What is it about our region, the Lake Erie viticultural region, that makes it unique as far as vineyard growing and wine production goes?
Well, we grow grapes here, and that's what makes us authentic.
Yeah.
The lake provides the general temperature moderation, so we have a growing season north of what we call the escarpment. There are roads called Middle Ridge, South Ridge, North Ridge. These are old lake ridges. And what happens in the spring is the cold air comes across Lake Erie, because the lake is partially frozen most years, and is trapped and dropped. So it delays bud break in the spring. In the fall, the lake is warm, and the breezes come across the lake, and they drop, being trapped by the escarpment, and it extends the growing season for another couple of weeks. So along the Lake Erie region, we have a much longer growing season than just south of those ridges. However, Dustin and his amazing winery sits in the middle of Lake Erie, so his benefit is that he is surrounded by water, and his season is delayed just a little bit more than the mainland, but extended significantly in the fall because those lake temperatures keep the grapes growing for a week or so beyond what we can grow, certainly in the Lake Erie region, but more importantly, the rest of Ohio. South of that escarpment, there's usually a 2 or 3 or 4 week difference in the ability to grow grapes. So we owe it to Lake Erie.
So a little more on Heineman's. Where exactly are you growing and harvesting the grapes? Like, I've been on the island lots of times, but I've actually never seen like the area. Maybe I just never looked out for it.
Probably about 75% of what we use to produce the wines here are grown right here on the island. We have several different patches of vineyards that we own, that the winery owns, and that we take care of. And then there are several other acres that other island families have owned for years, and we kind of take care of their vineyards too and pick their grapes as well. So most of what we use is grown right here on the island. And then, of course, we do have to outsource for some of our other wine varietals, but we always stay within 10 miles of Lake Erie so that we can call it a Lake Erie wine.
You say variety. You got variety. You got a ballpark number?
We produce about 25 different kinds of wines here. Currently, right now, I think we have 17 available. And that kind of changes as the year goes on. We add a couple, we'll lose a couple, but I'm working on getting our pick up to about 24, 25, because I want to make sure that whoever walks in this door, I want to make sure that they are able to find a wine that they love, whether they like sweet, medium, dry, white, red, blush. We have it all, and we also make 2 kinds of grape juice here too for the kids as well, and for people that don't want to drink wine.
That sounds like 25 reasons to visit Heineman's Winery.
Yes, I agree.
One more reason is the authenticity. Wine is a reflection of the places where it is grown. So I remember Lou Heineman, Dustin's grandpa, who was on my very first board, would always win Best of Show in the category of Catawba on every national competition. It was because those limestone soils that he grew his grapes in, where the grapes struggled, reflected that struggle and won those gold medals consistently for them. So Dustin does a wonderful job of maintaining the real Ohio fruit, the real Ohio wines on that island.
Awesome. It's great information to have. So you could say a lot of this stuff, it goes along with the visitor experience, when they visit Heineman's Winery, what they're actually gonna, feel, see. Is there anything, Dustin, you could add to that, with the visitor experience actually visiting the winery itself on Put-in-Bay?
We are very family oriented here. Not only here at the winery, we got Crystal Cave, we got a gift shop, we got all these different wines that you can enjoy. But across the street from us, we got Perry's Cave and their amusement center as well. So it's kind of like, you get a 2-for-1. Once you come here, you can go across the street, and there's always something going on here for everyone.
And when you visit, the Crystal Cave tour includes the wine tasting as well. You kind of go through the wine cellar area also?
Correct. We do kind of sell a package deal here where you get a tour of Crystal Cave, and then we take you through the winery here, the wine cellar, where we explain the process of how we make our wine, from our stainless steel tanks to our press, our filtering process, our bottling, labeling process. And then at the end of the tour, we kind of have a display table that has all of our different wines, where we give a short description of all these wines, so people can kind of figure out which one they want to try. and then they get a 5-ounce glass of wine or grape juice of their choice with the package tour as well.
It's definitely a great experience, I think, and I like that it incorporates the family as well. It's not boring for kids. It's good that everybody can participate in that. So back to Donniella, June is Ohio Wine Month. What does that mean for the Ohio Wine Producers Association? What does that mean for your organization, and what are you doing to promote that?
Back in 1978, when I first took this job, there was a fellow named Bob Gottesman who at that point owned the Lawns Winery, which is and Lawns, and Mon Ami, which became Firelands Winery. And we decided we needed some way to celebrate what we were doing and to kick off the tourist season. Because in those days, about 95% of the wineries were based on tourism. Now we have more distribution and more available in retail outlets. But we decided that June was the time to kick off that summer season and put on a whole series of activities. So each year, all of the wineries around the state do something special for the month of June. We always do wonderful things, but there are trails and there are events and there are tastings. And this year, again, for the second year in a row, a very special event, which is going to be the Put-in-Bay Wine Festival, actually inspired by Dustin, to try and bring some attention to the fact that we have a plethora of wines, certainly Heineman's being the focal point on Put-in-Bay, but beyond that, many, many wineries around the state. So we have about, I think, 6 or 8, or maybe there are 10 of them coming this year. And we'll be on the island to taste on June 22nd to kick off that month's activities.
Now, your two organizations are once again bringing Ohio's Island Wine Festival on June 22nd. Can one of you tell us a little bit more about the event and what attendees can experience if they visit the festival?
Sure, I guess that's me. First of all, we try and put together a sort of an island vibe. I write a lot about things, and I always talk about this festival being like no other in the country. You hop onto the Miller Ferry, you take that beautiful ride across to the bay. You get off, you rent a golf cart, you find your way to Heineman Winery, you sip a little wine. The Historical Society has a series of displays set up there. The wineries are going to be there. You will taste in the sunshine under the trees, a little bit of food, a little bit of relaxation, again with a sort of an island feel. You'll be there for the afternoon. Each of the wineries will offer several samples. You walk in, you get a wine glass, you get a wine tote. We encourage you to take some wine home with you. And then maybe hop on the golf carts again and do some exploration downtown, maybe go up to the Perry's Monument. So the festival the focal point of the festival is certainly the wines, to showcase wines from different parts of Ohio, because we do have several wineries coming from around the area, around the state. But part of it is this magical place called Put-in-Bay that I so love. Yeah. And it gives us an excuse to have a wonderful experience on that very, very special island.
Now, at the festival itself, are there other activities going on, such as entertainment and food?
Sure,
that kind of stuff?
Sure. We will have musical entertainment during the day. We have people serving food. We've got some demonstrations. Lucas Guy is going to be there, he's an island fellow, and he's going to be providing music for us all day. But we've got wineries from Grand Rapids, from Loudonville, from Worcester, from Helena, from Sandusky, certainly Heinemans themselves, and from Wauseon. So they're from all over the state. And so you'll be able to, as Dustin said, find a wine that you love, whether it's red or white, dry or sweet, made from grapes or made from fruit. It's an experience that allows people who are very sophisticated and understand their wines to learn a little bit more from the winemakers that are there, but it's also a place to sort of explore. Wine is always a journey of exploration. So it's, you get to taste things that you might not otherwise taste in a non-intimidating environment, in a relaxed atmosphere with those island breezes flowing.
Amazing. Now, what are the tickets going for, and where can people purchase those tickets if they want to be prepared ahead of time?
Sure. If they purchase the tickets in advance, they can go online to the Ohio Wine Producers website. It's ohiowines with the S.org, ohiowines.org, and they can order tickets directly online. They can call our office at 440-466-4417 and maybe save some of those processing fees. And it's $32, and then at the gate it's $37. And we do have certainly non-drinkers, so we always offer grape juice, and the ticket for that is just $10. So they'll come into the festival and get a wristband and begin to explore and enjoy.
I have to say, I think my favorite right now is the Sweet Bell over at Heineman's Winery. I get at least 2 bottles and take it home every time I'm over there.
Well, it's a gold medal winner too, so you have good
Yeah,
taste.
it's awesome. It's awesome. And like a general consistency that I continuously hear anytime I'm like around like a wine event or even a partial is that a lot, the people who that are, presenting, everybody is very, giving the idea that yes, find whatever you like. And it's like, so I won't say like low key, but they keep it, like relaxed. Like it's like, you don't have to take it, too seriously, but it's all about what you like. And I'm sure there's lots of people that, don't, see it as that way. They see that, something higher, but it's, it's been a general consensus that I hear around. It's just, just find something you like. And that's really what it's all about. So that's awesome. But Dustin, where can people go to find more information about the winery operation?
People can log on to HeinemansWinery.com to find more information out about us. And I'm also pretty active on the Heineman Winery and Crystal Cave Facebook, where I put about, a lot of information about the different wines that we are bottling, any new information that people need to know about. And back to the wine festival, the one thing that we did not talk about is Lake Erie Islands Historical Society. We'll also be having a silent auction as well, featuring a lot of different old historical island memorabilia and some different packages and things like that at the auction. So not only does this festival benefit the Ohio wineries and the Ohio Wine Producers Association, but it also benefits preserving the local island history that we have here.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Dustin. And Donniella, where can listeners go to find more about Ohio Wine and Winery?
Okay, if they'll go to ohiowines.org, we've got a very active website, lots of information about events and things to do, fun things to do, about the wineries themselves, about the trails, about the mini trails that we have going on, about whether, or if you want to take a picnic, you can look for a list of wineries that offer picnics. If you have a wonderful pet that you want to bring along, the wineries that are pet friendly in terms of their patios. So there's a whole lot of information. It's a fun website, and we get lots of traffic. Thursday's our busiest afternoon, obviously. People looking for things to do.
That's funny. Thursday would be, going into the weekend, what winery are we going to explore this week? Donnie, how many wineries are represented through the Ohio Wine Producers Association?
We have about 220 members of the 300 and some that are a member of the association. A lot of the wineries that are not members are primarily breweries who have a wine license in addition. So we really like to focus on those people that are growing their grapes, actually making the wine. Some of them bringing fruit in because they're in an urban environment, but those that are authentically producing wine, and that's their focus.
That's awesome. Is there anything else that either one of you want to make sure that we cover, or anything that you wanted to share today?
Sure. I want to give a shout out to Wendy at the Chamber. She has been wonderful to work with. She has helped us with all kinds of things. And there will be $1 from each ticket goes back to the Chamber to support some of their activities. So we are very, very, very appreciative of Wendy and all of her efforts. Brings on volunteers to help us. She's a great gal to work with. The island's lucky to have her.
Oh, that's really nice. And Dustin, anything else you wanted to share?
Basically, for the people that are listening and have never come to Put-in-Bay, and I still can't believe it when I hear it, but a lot of people don't even know that there are islands in Lake Erie. I mean, you got to come to Put-in-Bay, you got to come to this festival, and if you can't make it the weekend of the festival, just make sure at some point this summer you come to Put-in-Bay to experience everything that we have to offer here, because like I always say, Put-in-Bay has something for everyone. We got a winery, we got caves, we got Perry's Monument, the third tallest national monument, fishing, great restaurants, great bars. The nightlife is good here as well, and a lot of different family activities. Like we have the Nature Center, we have several different preserves here. People love to go birding, watch birds. I mean, pretty much anything for everyone here.
Absolutely. You definitely are a great ambassador for your island. And folks, if you're listening, shoresandislands.com can help you get there. We can get you all the information on the Miller Ferry and the Jet Express, how you can get over to the island, how you can get around once you're there, all the different places you can rent golf carts, and then, of course, how to get out to Heineman's Winery and experience that. And not only the Ohio's Island Wine Festival that's coming up, but all kinds of great events that are hosted on the the island all season long. And Dustin, you actually have quite a long season. You go into October, don't you, that you're open?
Correct. Yeah, we are actually open until the last weekend in October this year, which is, of course, the Halloween weekend. Halloween at the Bay.
That's awesome. So get yourselves over there, get to Put-in-Bay on South Bass Island. And if you're listening anywhere in Ohio, try Ohio wines. There's probably a winery near you, and the Ohio Wine Producers Association's website can help you find your local wineries and make sure that you try something, from your region and celebrate June. It's Ohio Wine Month, so we love it. Donnie, what was your website again?
It's Ohio Wines with an S, plural, ohiowines.org, O-R-G. We'd love to have you join and learn a little bit about us.
Excellent. All right. Well, special thanks to Dustin Heineman of Heineman's Winery and Donniella Winchell, Executive Director of the Ohio Wine Producers Association, for joining us today. And of course, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can also find more information, including past episodes of this podcast, online at shoresandislands.com. And Dayton and I will see you next time holding a lovely glass of Ohio wine on the shoreline.